Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on campus services. My name is Mikkel St. Germain. I'm the Director of Parent and Family Engagement. We're so happy to have all of you with us today. By popular request, this webinar will include information on the Department of Public Safety, the Brown Bookstore, and the Recreation Office, which is part of Brown Athletics. We have a lot of panelists with me today, so I want to quickly get into just the details and we will get started. If, as usual, we have a closed captioner with us today. If you hit the CC button at the bottom of the screen, you will be able to access closed captions. If you have additional questions as we go through our presentations, please use the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen, and you can submit a question to be answered live here today. We have received many of your questions in advance, and so we have used those questions to create our presentations and incorporate them. But if for some reason something else comes up that you're thinking of, please feel free to use that Q&A tool. We have about 60 people with us right now joining us, and the numbers keep going up. So another thing to note is, as usual, this event will be recorded and posted on the webpage where you registered. So you will see all of these recordings and the previous ones that have taken place at families.brown.edu. And at the end of this session, if you still have questions, please feel free to send them to me at family@brown.edu, and I'll make sure they get to the right place. We do try and keep these conversations at a high level, general topic. So we don't get into specifics about individual students, but if you do have a question about your specific student, feel free to send that in to us and we will answer that individually. So today I have my wonderful colleagues from, as I mentioned, the Department of Public Safety, from the Brown Bookstore, and from Recreation. We have Rodney Chapman, who is the Vice President for Public Safety and Emergency Management. We also have Kiana Young, who is the Director of Advocacy, Engagement, and Communications for Public Safety. TJ Cochran from the Bookstore, he is the Director, and also manages university branding and licensing. Michelle Mayer, who is the Associate Director of Bookstore Operations. And then finally, Amy Dean, who is Fitness and Wellness Manager for the Recreation Office. So let's get started with VP Chapman. VP Chapman, do you want to begin our presentation, please?
Absolutely. Thank you for the introduction as well, because those titles are so long and you did it so well. So thank you. I'll be brief with my remarks because I believe the most time is beneficial where we can engage in Q&A at the end, and there's a lot of valuable information to be shared with you. As mentioned, I'm the Vice President for Public Safety and Emergency Management. In public safety, we have a saying among ourselves that we want to make our value visible. And so in any way that I can be of service to you, please feel free to reach out to me at any time along your student's journey through this Brown process. I do want to turn it over to Kiana Young. As mentioned, she is our Director of Advocacy, Engagement, and Communications, and she has some information specifically to share with you.
Hello. All right, thank you. I want to say congratulations to all of you and welcome to Brown. I'm excited to kick off this webinar talking about the Department of Public Safety. Throughout this presentation, you'll hear me refer to us as DPS. Just know that those are the same thing. All right, next slide, please. All right, so we are located at 75 Charlesfield. So our building and our headquarters is right across the street from where the new dorms are being built. So that means that we are right in the heart of campus. Next slide. Right. So a little bit about DPS. We are recognized by the state of Rhode Island as a duly accredited police department. And I'll talk a little bit later about what that means to be an accredited police department. But we are a fully functioning police department. We operate 24/7. Our contact information is listed for both the emergency line and the non-emergency line. And then you'll also see our website listed there. And so on our website, you'll find a host of information, including about the programs and services that I'm going to talk about today. But you'll also see topics on there such as, safety tips. We have safety tips from everything from, things to be mindful about when you're moving in to how to ride Uber safely. So I definitely encourage everyone to check out our website. Next slide, please. We have personnel serving in a number of different positions and capacities in order to ensure that our campus is safe. So we do have our sworn personnel. Those are officers who attended the police academy. They are armed. And then in addition to that, we also have our K9 LV. She is our comfort dog. She just joined us last year. She was sworn in. So the students love her, and I'm sure your students will love her too. We also have our civilian officers. So these are our officers who are working in our communication center. They're answering the calls. They're on our bike patrols. They're also out testing our technology and making sure that everything is, functioning properly. And then for administrative staff, this includes myself as well as our finance team, but you'll see a bulk of this as our student employees. We usually employ about 50 students per year. So if you do have a student who's looking for an on-campus job, they may be interested in working with DPS. Next slide, please. Okay. And this is just a photo of our uniforms. So on the left, you'll see our armed officers, and that is our chief of police right there in the center. And then on the right are our civilian officers, and they're wearing that lighter blue shirt. And that's just a way to tell the difference. Okay. Okay. So as I mentioned before, we are an accredited police agency. We're accredited through CALIA. And basically what that means is that we go through this process every year to make sure that we are meeting a certain level of standards, that we are staying current with best practices. And so we are a highly trained department, and these are not all of the trainings that we go through, but these are just a snapshot of the trainings that we do get asked about a lot. So please know that we are training when it comes to mental health. We're training around de-escalation. We're training around fair and impartial policing. Being on a college campus, we value learning, we value training and self-development. But I think also, given our size, we're able to make our trainings mandatory for everyone in our department, which is not always possible when you look at larger organizations such as a Providence Police. All right, next slide. Okay, and this is a photo of our communication center. So you see that we use a lot of technology, including cameras that are placed throughout campus. Next slide. Okay, so we offer a number of programs and services. In general, our campus is pretty safe. The most prevalent crime that we see has to do with theft. And so some of our programs address that issue. So for example, our property registration, that program allows students to register their laptops, their cell phones, their bicycles with us. And what we'll do is we'll put a little sticker on those items. And if that item should be stolen or lost, which is also something that we see a lot of, and it's returned to us, what we can do if it's, we can check our system if it's registered and get that item right back to the rightful owner. So that's a great program. We also have You Lock or You Lose. So if your student is, thinking about having a bicycle on campus, we do provide free You Locks to our students. We do not advise students to use chain locks. Those get cut very easily. So you can go ahead and buy your student a U-Lock before they get to campus, or once they're in campus, we can also provide a free U-Lock. And then throughout the year, we're also, doing trainings and workshops around self-defense and other safety sessions as well. Next slide. All right. Another program I wanted to highlight is our Safe Walk program. This is our one of our oldest programs, also one of our most popular programs. And so basically this is an escort program. So if your student is out late at night, coming from the library or the dining hall and, they're not feeling like they want to walk alone, they can call our Safe Walk program, and our students, this is a completely student-run program, our students will meet them and, get them to where they need to go. It's super easy. All of the numbers, in order to call Safe Walk is located on everyone's ID cards. It's on the back. And also you can book a walk ahead of time if you know you're going to be out late, and you can do that through our website. But most of the information that you'll find, again, is on our website. All right, next slide. Okay, and we also are doing other programming in the community. We're at orientations. We'll be at the activities fair, handing out other materials such as whistles and personal safety alarms. And then we're also in our community working with our local high schools as well. Okay. Right. Some other services that we offer that I wanted to draw your attention to is, well, one, our Allied Security. So we contract with a company, a security company called Allied Security, and they provide us with security guards who we post throughout the campus. They're wearing these bright yellow jackets, so you cannot miss them. But what that allows us to do is, provide us with some extra eyes and ears around campus. And the great part about that is, if we see an uptick in activity in a certain area, what we can do is deploy those security guards to that area. And again, we'll have that extra eyes and ears there. We also have blue lights spread throughout campus. There are hundreds of these, and this is a phone that leads directly to our communications center. If you go on our website, we have a map where all the blue lights are. So let's say, a student wanted to plan their route based on where all the blue lights are. They're welcome to do that using our maps. And the other service I'll also point out is our Brown Guardian app. And that app will have all of our contact information in it. It has some resources on it, but it also has this really cool feature that is a self-timer. So if you're walking somewhere and you are not at the place that you said you're going to be in the time you said you're going to be there, an alert will be sent to our communications center. And that app can be used and functions anywhere in Rhode Island, and actually also outside of Rhode Island too. All right, next slide. Right. So that's it. I mean, most of our information, as I said, will be on our website. You can also sign up and subscribe to our newsletter. We do a monthly newsletter that will be found in our About section in our website. We're on social media, Brown DPS on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. But again, we'll be around to answer questions at the end, and we just thank you for your time today. All right. Next slide, I think is the last is a picture. All right. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Travis Cochran. I go by TJ Cochran. I just want to say thank you for attending today's session, and I'm going to go over a little bit of information in regards to the bookstore. Today, joining me, I have the Associate Director, Michelle Mayer, and responsible for operations within the bookstore. If we can put up the slide, you can go ahead and go to the next slide. So the first thing that I wanted to put up was some information where you can get additional information later on if you were to have need for information for things regarding course materials or technology center, repair center, and so forth. I wanted to give you another customer service location where you could get additional information later on. You can, I'm going to give you a series of QR codes that can take you to various other areas to get information, like our website here, which is shopbrown.com. The customer service information is here available. Could you advance this slide on through the rest of the slide? Thank you. We have some textbook information available to you through a textbook ordering video. This QR code will take you there. It's also on our website. And there's a textbook FAQ that will also give you some additional information if you're looking for for more specific information regarding course materials. But this textbooks at brown.edu goes straight to our text department, and they'll also get back to you if you have any questions. We do have a full technology center, and that technology center is on the upper level of the bookstore. The mezzanine level is what we refer to it as. And there's also a phone number and an email here as well. And then we have a Facebook and Instagram that you can follow us on. And we do a lot of informational series that go out on our social media platforms. We also do a lot of giveaways and promotions and sales events. And that's a good way to follow to keep track of some of those things that are going on within the bookstore. Just real quick about the bookstore. If you hadn't had the opportunity to visit us, we hope that you do, especially during move-in weekend, if you have the opportunity to come by. We are a 3-level, 14,000 square foot bookstore. A lot of people don't realize when they come in the store, it's 3 levels. And we have an upper floor, as I said, this technology center, but we also have a general book department that has almost 8,000 square feet of space. We carry up to 75,000 general book titles just in our general book department. On the lower level of the bookstore, you'll find our course materials for our print books. And then we also have our school supplies, art supplies, course-related supplies, and our dorm supplies. And we do have a full complement and assortment of dorm supplies. So a lot of the bulky things you may not want to travel with, like fans, pillows, blankets, linens, pillowcases, a lot of the supplies you might need for your toiletries and that type of thing is available. And we have a full assortment of school supplies available through the bookstore. And then on the main floor, you'll find is our campus shop. We're recently going through a renovation, and we went through a little minor renovation last year. We built a gift shop on the Angel sides of our store. We're at the cross of Angel and Thayer, and so on the Angel side, we built a gift shop, and then we're building right now, as we speak, a Champion concept shop, and we're going to be adding a Nike shoplet in the back of the store this summer as well. And then we're expanding our trade book selection upstairs on our mezzanine level. So we're going through a little bit of a change currently, but that should be complete by August 21st. So by the time of move-in weekend, it should be complete. We carry a very large line of college apparel, numerous different brands, and we have a whole series of home goods, giftware, drinkware, and so forth. So pretty much what you would expect to see in a college at Brown. We carry pretty much every type of emblematic logo product you could possibly think of. If you're interested in seeing that, going to our shopbrown.com, we have most of our items on our website. If you could advance to the next slide and go ahead and advance all the way to the last. Yeah, thank you. So we have a few deadlines that I just want to make you aware of, especially when it relates to course materials. The students will get this information and it's also posted on our website. But August 14th is when the website opens up for textbook orders. And there's a number of ways a student can order course materials. One of them is they can go into the self-service page when they're looking at shopping for courses, and there is a button at the bottom of the screen that will let them shop their books. The reason I would suggest this is the number one way to order their books is that it will know all the books required for all the courses they're either enrolled in or shopping at the time. So this is a way to pre-populate the shopping cart with all of the required course materials. There are 2 other ways that you can go about ordering course materials. One is on our Courses at Brown website. Each course has a link for the required books next to each course, and you can get to the individual titles that are required for that course. The other way would be to go into our website at shopbrown.com, shop textbooks, and then you have to put in each individual course and section that you're taking and for the book information to populate. But that's the 3 ways. There are a number of different tender types that you can choose on our website. One of them is student charges, and every student that attends Brown has $2,000 to spend on credit through the bookstore that will get billed to their financial services. And any student that has scholarships or any kind of financial aid that's covering their materials will automatically get deducted, so the student will not be billed. So that's how we suggest a lot of students that are using aid or scholarship go about placing the orders for their books. The only thing they will need when they check out on the website is their banner ID, which will be on their ID card. And I'm sure they receive that information in other ways as well. But the banner ID would be how they would check out. There are, traditional credit card checkout and bear box and so forth as well. But for student charges, that's how that works. The first day of classes is September 6th. All students will place their orders for textbooks online. They will not shop the course material department in the bookstore. We have a number of books that aren't going to be available right away. So during the shopping period, any student can come in and place an order on the website and have that order fulfilled, and it should be ready within 24 hours of receiving confirmation of the order. So every student will receive 2 emails. One is just confirmation they received the order, and then confirmation that the book is ready for pickup in the bookstore. And they will pick up their books in the course materials department on the lower floor. September 19th is the last day to add a course without a fee, and September 20th is the last day for textbook refunds or opt out of inclusive access. Just to let you know, inclusive access is when a course material has been assigned to a class. Usually it's a digital material that's incorporated into the course, either through the learning management system or some sort of lab. And so the materials are part of the fees associated with that course. However, a student can opt out if they do not want to pay through student services. They have up until the last day for refund, which is September 20th, and they get 3 email reminders to their brown email to let them know that they can opt out of that fee. In most cases, the homework assignments and the labs are done through those assignments, which is why it's part of the fee. And we rarely get students to opt out unless they know they're going to drop the course for some reason. On September 21st, the textbook department then opens up so students can come into the store. They can refund a book at any point that they want to. They don't have to wait till the September 21st to refund a book or opt out. They can do that anytime during the first 2 weeks of classes. And then around October 15th, that's the last day to purchase books through the bookstore, because we begin our publisher returns back to the publishers, as we have a deadline to return any unsold books back to our publishers. Our refund policy is available at shopbrown.com as well. This QR code will take you to the refund page. One other call out on refunds is that digital textbooks have a different refund policy than print textbooks, because we use a platform called RedShelf, and RedShelf controls when books will be allowed to be returned. I can tell you that the refund period on a digital book differs in the sense that it's based on when the book has been used versus any kind of date. So where books that are print books are refundable up until September 20th, there's only 14 days from the use of a book, a digital book, by RedShelf. And so we suggest that most students wait to the first day of class until they actually have an assignment to actually activate their RedShelf book, just in case they decide that they don't want to take that course. So again, we would just recommend that don't use a digital title or activate it until you're ready, until the student is ready to use it. You could go ahead and advance to the next slide. So a few other things that a lot of people don't know is we have the full technology center upstairs where we are an authorized Apple reseller and repair service. So if your student has a Apple warranty, Apple Care, we actually can service those Macs or iPads. We don't service iPhones, and we do not sell iPhones because we do not have a carrier, but we can do any other type of Apple device such as desktops, laptops, and tablets. We also have a full assortment of accessories for Apple and PC. We sell Lenovo, Dell, HP, and Surface Pro, and all the accessories for those items as well. So they're available, and more importantly, they're available at academic discounts. So as an Apple reseller on a college campus, we do offer discounts that are built into the price of the item. And when you go to our shopbrown.com, you select our technology center, you can see our pricing and our availability right there on our website. You can place an order and pick up in store. It does not have to be shipped to you. And we have 2 technicians and a service repair technician that's in the store each day that can assist students if they need any help. We also have a Campus Cube College Care Package program. So this is another service that we offer. This QR code will take you to their website. It's an independent service where you can do a care package, set up a care package, send it to the student, and it would be you could pick it up through the bookstore or send it to mail services, and the student could get it that way. But this is another service that we offer through the bookstore. It's also on our shopbrown.com website. Could you move to the next slide? And again, as I wrap up here, I wanted to go through, have you have time to get to the QR codes here, because I didn't know how fast I would go through some of the information. So as I wrap up, if there's any of these QR codes you want to use with your smartphone device, it'll take you to this. And as Mikkel said earlier, this is recorded, so you can always go back and watch it and get to this information so that you can contact us. But I just wanted to wrap up by saying, if you have any questions and we don't get to all the questions at the Q&A, please reach out to us. Let us know what you need, and we'll be happy to get back to you as soon as possible. One of the questions that I just want to call out that it was given to me in advance was a question about the library and do they reserve stock or have copies of textbooks? And the answer is yes, they do. They do have some textbooks for some of the classes on reserve. Obviously, they have a limited number. The other question was about digital books and rental books. We do have digital books for almost every title we sell, and the digital book is around 50 to 75% cheaper than the new print option. So it's a lot of students decide to go digital. Some prefer not digital. We do have new and used textbooks. Because of the nature of digital and that the wholesale business has really declined over the last few years, there aren't as many rental options as there used to be. So we've just actually moved away from rental and really try to get as many digital books as we can for students, especially since a lot of them are integrated into the learning management system and directly integrated to the classroom. And we're finding in the college industry that's being adopted more and more by faculty. So if you have any other questions, I'd love to answer them in the Q&A session. And if there's anything else I can help you with, always let us know. I appreciate it. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Amy in Recreation.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amy Dean. I'm the Fitness and Wellness Manager with Brown Recreation. So I'm going to chat with you today about what we offer for all undergraduate students. We have a couple main areas that I'm going to focus on today. First is fitness and wellness, which is what I directly oversee. Then we're going to aquatics, and then intramurals and club sports. Next slide, please. All right, so first I'm going to talk to you about the Nelson Fitness Center. This is our main fitness center on campus. You can see the 2 pictures here. It actually just went through a renovation, and we've gotten all new strength equipment as of January of this year. So it was a much needed upgrade, and we're very happy with the turnout of the equipment. It is a 10,000 square foot area. We have 4 fitness studios, 3 of which are housed in the same building as the Nelson Fitness Center loft. And then 1 is a satellite campus in our Keeney Quad, which is a lower class dorm. So if you have freshmen or sophomores coming in this year, they'll be able to use the Keeney studio, which will house our group fitness program. Group fitness, new this year, is included for all undergraduate students. So they can participate in any of our group fitness classes on our schedule. In a normal fall semester, we run at least 80 classes a week. So they run at all different times of the day, lots of different options. We focus on introductory level programs for those that might be new to exercise or just like the group format. And then we have some more advanced level classes for those that have some experience. We also have personal training available for an additional fee. The other two areas to highlight are the turf area, which you can see in this picture here. That is also brand new. We got that in January, and that's been very popular with our students. And then we also have an indoor track and basketball courts, which is in the OMAC, which is right next to the Nelson Fitness Center, which students will also have access to during recreational hours. Next slide, please. All right, so students have access to our pool, which is in the same building as the fitness loft. They're open to any recreation swim hours, which are all posted on our website. We also offer private swim lessons, which students can sign up for with an additional fee. All right, so for clubs and IM sports, we have a lot of different things going on. I will start this by saying every club is different. So we're going to try to keep this very, very general. We have 42 club sports on campus. Club sports typically start sooner than the intramural program. Club sports start up right in the beginning part of September. I would recommend any student that is interested in joining a club sport to go to the activities fair. They'll have the captains will be there, or team representatives, where they can talk about what practices look like, if there are tryouts, if there are any dues that need to be paid. Every club is a bit different. So the best way to figure that out is to actually talk to the team representatives. And the intramural program is also included now for all undergraduate students. So that's another big change for this year. So we're really excited to get a lot of participation in our intramural program. Those will start a little bit later. Those will start in October 1st. So if you have any interest in that, that's all on our website. And they'll also be talking about that at the activity fairs as well. All right, and lastly, we have our special events. Over the past year, we've worked really hard to create a lot of signature events through the recreation department here. First one is the Welcome Back event, which is currently scheduled to run on September 20th. This is where we will have a lot of information if people have missed it or they missed the activities fair. We'll have representatives from each of our departments outside on the green outside of the Nelson Fitness Center. So that's a great time to come and chat with us. We ran our very first indoor sprint triathlon last spring, and it was very successful. So we'll definitely be looking to do that in the upcoming spring as well. And then we will be having a freshman dive-in movie night during orientation. So all freshman students should have information about this. It's a really cool event where we put a movie on the big screen, and people can choose to float in the pool and watch the movie, or sit in the stands if they're not comfortable with that either. So keep an eye out and definitely let your students know that we'll be running some special events this year.
All right, thank you, Amy, and everybody else who presented. Great information there. I have some questions that came in with our registration and a few that have come in during the webinar, but please, everybody in the audience, feel free to send us your questions and we'll try and get to those all. I'm going to start with public safety. One of the questions that we've received from a few different folks is about just the general safety of the community where Brown sits, and what kind of statistics are available to students, to families about the area. So if VP Chapman and Kiana, if you could talk a little bit about Providence and the Brown community, and just the general sense of how safe it is, that would be helpful.
Well, I can address that in two different ways. The first way is, in terms of statistics, we are required to put out an annual safety and security report. It's online and it covers the previous 3 years of crime data. The crime data and how safe our campus is actually is one of the challenges that we face, and that our crime levels are so low. Students tend to get a sense that there's some magic bubble around Brown, and that's not the case. We are in an urban setting. We're basically in downtown Providence, and we're an open campus, and people can traverse through our campus. And so it's a paradigm shift to get students to do things such as not walking away from their property, actually locking doors to their rooms and other places is a challenge because they get this sense of nothing really happens around here. And if I had any piece of advice, I would tell parents to really reinforce that with your children, that you're in an urban environment now. You're no longer in a high school that has controlled access and intercoms to enter the building, and just look over your stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, that addresses another question that we got about, what should students be aware of? So it sounds like just a general sense that you are in a community and not in a private campus.
It is, and I would say further, I mentioned we try to make our value visible. We have under Director Young's purview a significant number of programs to help students to remain safe. For instance, we have a free trade zone. If they're buying something online from someone, we encourage them to use our trade zone that's monitored so that we can ensure the person that they're buying from is not up to any nefarious activity. One issue that we have, because we have a small footprint, is a lot of students have bicycles. We have property registration. We have specifically bike registration, and we recommend U-locks as opposed to the chain locks, and Director Young referred to that. But if a student has any issue with getting those, just contact us. We will give them a free lock if necessary. It's not an issue for us. And almost any safety related concern, please see us. We give a significant number of trainings on active shooters, significant number of trainings on self-defense and personal awareness. We are incorporating this year some things related to our international students that speak specifically to scams and things that are directed at our international students as well.
Great, thank you. We just had a question come in, Kiana, maybe this one is for you, about where do students keep bikes, and is there any additional recommendations in regards to bikes?
Yeah, we have a number of racks around the campus so students can use those. Sometimes students will put bikes inside of their dorm rooms, and that's fine if they have the room. We are looking at future opportunities of incorporating bike rooms into dorms, but sometimes there's not always that space. So there are certain spaces around campus that students can put their bikes. But again, as Chief mentioned, the U-locks are preferable than the cable locks. Great,
thank you. And another question we received was about prevention. So besides the support that you provide for students, is there active preventative measures that you're working on to just reduce crime in general around the Brown area?
Yes, certainly. We have just hired a technical service manager to help us manage the electronical and infrastructure type things that add to the safety of the entire campus. We just hired he starts tomorrow, a director of emergency management who will help us consolidate and put structure behind some of the things we already do well, but that includes managing and providing safety for public facing events, athletic events, plays, et cetera, and things that happen out on the green. And we have a very strong partnership with Providence Police Department, who surrounds us, but we partner with them, we listen to each other's calls, and we can respond to assist one another. And that relationship is growing very strong. In fact, I have what's called no agenda coffees with the chief. So we are getting together at that level and talking about how operationally we can improve the collaboration between the two departments.
Excellent, thank you. Yeah, Providence and Brown are just such a combined entity that sounds great. I'm going to segue over to the bookstore. We've had a few questions come in, TJ, and I know you answered them individually, but could you talk a little bit more about that $2,000 credit that you mentioned?
Yeah, so the $2,000 credit that each student can use throughout the year in the bookstore is billed to financial services. So the student account gets a bill for that. Just to clarify what I said earlier, if the student has financial aid or some type of scholarship that covers their course materials, it gets deducted from that $2,000 and automatically covered. So in other words, the student would have $2,000 still to spend, not counting whatever aid covers their materials. And the aid is deducted from the financial services and that side of the house. So we don't actually do the billing through the bookstore. They take care of that directly, and the student doesn't worry about having to pay out of pocket and then get reimbursed in some fashion. So that $2,000 credit covers anything within the bookstore. And then if their aid is specific to course materials, it would only cover course materials.
So it sounds like if people have specific questions about that credit and other financial aid related to books and textbooks, that the financial aid office is the place to direct those.
Yeah, I would go directly to financial aid if they have any aid related questions.
Okay, thank you. And is the bookstore open to everybody? I think you answered that in your presentation, but can you confirm that?
Yeah, so we're open to the entire community. We during COVID, that was a different case, but today we're open to the entire community.
We're
And-
open 7 days a week as well.
Thank you. And Michelle, as far as supplies outside of books, what other kind of like last minute essentials are available in the bookstore?
We have so many different school supplies that they can come in and shop downstairs. Dorm supplies, we have wonderful apparel. We've brought in, like TJ mentioned, our gift shop is wonderful to shop. It's beautiful. New, last year to the store, very big. As he mentioned, the store is large, 3 floors, many things to shop from. We welcome everyone. Please encourage your student to come into the store, shop around, gifts for the family, and we're looking forward to a family weekend.
Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, family weekend, October 13th to the 15th. Put that plug in there. TJ, can you talk a little bit about Bear Books? I know it's not your department that runs that, but can you talk about how Bear Books are used in the bookstore?
Yeah, so Bear Bucks is a tender method you can use at our registers as well. And through the card office, there is a declining card balance in which that a student can put money on their card. There's actually a machine in the vestibule off of Angel Street in the bookstore as one of the locations. There's many locations all over campus where you can actually add money to the card. And it's just basically another tender option. If you have money on your card, you can use it as the cash register as a tender option.
Great, thank you. So Amy, I've had a few questions come in for you as well. And you talked a lot about club sports, intramural sports, the fitness facilities. What about mental health and wellness and things along those lines? Does recreation cover that as well?
So technically those are different departments, but as far as our involvement in it, we do offer a lot of yoga classes, and we will start to do some mindfulness sessions. But for anything mental health related, we hope that they utilize CAPS.
Okay, great. Thank you. And we had somebody asking specifically about tennis lessons. Does recreation offer tennis lessons?
Not right now. I would say if they want to try out for club tennis, that might be a good place to start.
Great, thank you. And there was a question about recreation activities off of campus. Do you partner with any community organizations?
Not right now.
Okay, thank you. And I think there was a question too about other clubs and activities, and I just want to make the note that there is the student activities office that isn't on this webinar, but there are hundreds of student groups that cover a number of different activities. So athletics is managed by recreation, but the student activities office, which will also be part of that that fair, will are covered. There's everything from theater to a cappella, anything you can dream up. And if it's not there, you can always start your own group. Let's see, what else do we have here? TJ, I have had a few more questions about the $2,000 credit. I think if you can clarify that a little bit more, that would be helpful.
Yeah, it's $2,000 for all students, not just the students that are aided. That's the question that came through. So every student that attends Brown gets $2,000 to spend. I'm just saying that the aid gets deducted from the $2,000. So let's just for an example, say they have $2,000 to spend on the credit, and then they have $200 in course materials, and that $200 is covered by the aid. They still have another $2,000. It wouldn't be just $1,800 to spend in the bookstore. That's what I was getting at.
And is that yearly? That was something.
That's yearly,
Okay, so not just the first year they attend Brown, that's every year.
every year.
Okay, got it. Amy, are family members and parents allowed in any of the recreation facilities?
So if any parents want to utilize the gym, they just have to buy a day pass to go with the student.
Great, thank you. And I think, please feel free to send more questions. But I think we've covered most of our questions for today. So we're getting close to the end and we have a bunch of people. I just want to end by going around the group and getting your top tip for parents and families who are with us today on how to best prepare their student for campus. Amy, I'll start with you.
Sure. My biggest piece of advice is to encourage your students to keep up with their health and wellness while they're here at Brown. We have a lot of opportunities, a lot of different ways to participate, whether they're brand new and have not a lot of experience exercising, or they're an athlete that is not playing varsity sports here. There's a ton of ways to get involved. So I would highly recommend early on students getting involved in exercise and wellness in some form.
Great. Thank you. Michelle, I'll switch that over to you next.
Same thing. I would encourage your students to visit our website often. We list deadlines up there for textbook ordering, which is very important. I would encourage them to join our social media platforms. We advertise, we send multiple new items. We put up on our website, our Facebook page, Instagram, and just come in and shop the store. It's a wonderful place. We have very friendly staff, so please come in and shop the store.
Thank you. TJ?
Yeah, so for students, I would say the biggest advice I can give them is, if I was a student, I'd go to class before buying any course materials and just read the syllabi, talk to the faculty, make sure they really need what has been advertised, because sometimes faculty will assign a book thinking that's more of a recommended reading than a required reading, or they may be deciding that they're not so sure they're going to take the course. So my biggest advice was just make sure before they go spend the money, find out if they really need it. And for parents, I would say, please feel free to follow all of our social media platforms, because it's a great way to keep in touch with what's going on campus. Family Weekend's a great example, and many other events that happen throughout the year. And I would say also you can sign up for our newsletter, which gives a discount when you shop through the bookstore on the website. And the newsletter keeps you informed once a month on all kinds of things happening through the bookstore.
Great, thank you. Kiana?
I would say don't be afraid to ask for help. That's for you and for your student. There are so many great people and staff on this campus who will go out of their way to help you and make sure that you have what you need, and lots of resources, some of which are on this call. So don't be afraid to reach out to us.
Thank you. And finally, you, VP Chapman.
I would say it's not enough for your student to survive. We want your student to thrive while here. I say that there is safety and there's physical and emotional safety and connectedness. So whatever your student is interested in, I would encourage them to find a student organization that speaks to their interests. And again, there's physical and emotional safety to that, and have them just truly lean into this experience and really connect with one another. And this is where some of the bonds for the rest of their lives, as you all know, will be formed. And it speaks to their emotional and physical safety. Also with that too, please don't be a stranger to DPS. In any concern that you have, we want to just be a resource to you. We do some things like, even those who drive, before the holidays, we have a car check program where you can bring your car to us and we'll check your fluids and stuff like that. Please just look at us as a resource.
See, I always learn something new from these webinars. I did not know there was a car check. So these are great words of advice to end on.